I'm the Irish guy, and I know, okay? This video makes me look like a heartless vulture who enjoys eating people's feet in the desert. 3 clubs were relegated just days ago, and I'm already telling every Premier League club who they should sign this summer. Why don't I go down the local graveyard and start robbing jewellery from the coffins? It makes me look like a heartless oaf. And also, you're probably going to be turning your noses up at this relegated mush, right? Because why would you want them if they're relegated, right? I mean, this is probably like me suggesting to the royal family that they eat from a buffet where there's nose hairs and fingernails in the meat. But no, because lads, of the 3 squads that just went down, there is so much talent. So go on then, 1 relegated player who every Premier League club should sign this summer. Oh, and by the way, 20 different players in this list. If you got relegated and you don't make this video, then yeah, you are a bad player. Right, let's go. Arsenal, Romeo Lavia. Okay, I know that Chelsea have been sniffing on Romeo Lavia ever since he banged the winner past them in August. By the way, Southampton's 2nd last league win at home. Christ, the Saints have had such an appalling season. Does anybody reckon that Ralph Hasenhüttl inside the last 6 months has just been sitting on his couch, chuckling like a demented clown? But lads, I know that Todd Bowley's been eyeing up Lavia as if he's a pint of Galaxy ice cream. Chelsea have been more obsessed with Romeo than Juliet, and didn't she let him die on the Titanic? I get my teen movies mixed up, but I actually think that this teenage midfielder would suit Arsenal more. The kid's only 19 years old, spent 2 years learning the ropes at Manchester City, just after Mikel Arteta had left the club. If Arsenal could snatch him for what? 25-30 million quid, then this man can be Granit Xhaka's successor in midfield. I mean, why not? Arteta is clearly obsessed with buying anything that ever stepped foot in the Etihad, and there is so much Man City DNA all over Lavia's fingers. I reckon at the Emirates, Lavia would be a baller. Aston Villa, James Ward-Prowse. Yeah, lads, this is the moment to finally make this one happen. 2 years ago, Aston Villa would not take no for an answer, repeatedly trying to buy James Ward-Prowse from Southampton for about 30 million quid. Yeah, I mean, the bloke wasn't exactly begging his chairman to let him leave, but why would he? But now, it's different. Ward-Prowse can be offered the chance to swap the championship for the Europa Conference League. And I mean, he turns 29 this year. If he ever wants a 12th English cap, then Christ love, go work under Unai Emery. Bang in a few free kicks, become a Villa hero. I know he's been at Southampton for 20 years. It would be a culture shock, but Christ above, playing for Unai Emery or playing for Russell Martin. That's like being offered the choice between eating a steak sandwich or a brick. Bournemouth, Sorencio, Somerville. Okay, I think over the last month, Sam Allardyce has made up his mind that Sorencio Somerville is just some ugly wart who belongs on the Leeds United bench. He doesn't trust him. We know he doesn't trust him. But I was so impressed with this Dutch winger in the first half of the season. Does nobody remember when he scored for Leeds 4 times on the bounce? This is a skillful 21-year-old former Feyenoord prospect who honestly, he knows where the back of the net is. The guy's got 3 years left in his Leeds deal. Well, come on, Gary O'Neill. Chalk in a £20 million bid and I guarantee you, the kid is yours. By the way, quick interruption to let you know that the video is sponsored by Surfshark. Lads, you all know what Surfshark is. I know you do. Unless you've been living in the Australian outback with nothing for company but a scarecrow and the soul of a dead cat. Would make a weird sitcom that. But lads, Surfshark is a virtual private network that I use. And one of the best things about Surfshark is their data protection services, making sure that my private messages, photos, and other sensitive material is protected. Not that I'm gonna do anything that'll get myself cancelled anyway. I mean, what do you think you're going to find? A video of me having a bath with a pig? But lads, my personal favorite feature of Surfshark is that you can change your location on Netflix to anywhere in the world. So yeah, you can watch Match of the Day on a beach in China. Do China have beaches? It's available on every device you can think of. It has another feature called Alert, which will notify you when your personal information is being leaked online. Anyway, Surfshark are giving everybody who watches this channel 83% off and 3 months free when you use the code IRISHGUY10. Link in the description. Go now. Brentford cliche Iheanacho. Okay, let's be honest. I've been told he's going to spend the next 8 months getting fat on the couch. I mean, he is probably furious that the ban was extended by the FA to include worldwide clubs. Because imagine that. You get suspended for 8 months in England. So, fine. You just choose to go and spend the year on loan at AC Milan instead. I mean, if that happened, the guy would probably go down Paddy Power and kiss his bookie on the mouth. But lads, Brentford need a big, strong centre forward and a short-term, inexpensive option. So, Christ love, if Thomas Frank doesn't target Kelechi Iheanacho, then honestly, someone should force feed that man a bone of his own hair. This makes so much sense. This 26-year-old ex-Man City striker is out of contract at Leicester in 2024, so it costs what? 15 million quid? I know the guy blows so hot and cold, and his numbers, without context, are actually pretty horrible. These are his Premier League numbers in his 6 seasons at Leicester. 3, 1, 5, 12, 4 and 5. And considering he played over 20 times in each campaign, then yeah, I get it. These goal-scoring numbers are about as impressive as the birthday cake baked by the blind. Yeah, why is there a sock in the icing? But there is talent there, Christ above. During the 2021 season, Iheanacho bagged in 19 goals in all competitions. If Frank can focus this man's mind, make him feel like a superstar saviour in London, then honestly, the man's got skill, the technique, the goals. I think he would definitely keep Tony's seat warm. Brighton, Harvey, Barnes. Okay, so Brighton are a Europa League club now, right? It's time to start making ambitious signings, and yes, I know. For a club with an obsession with signing unknown wingers from the slums of Ecuador and Peru, they're a bit like a hipster who goes down to local Tesco and asks the cashier what aisle sells the mermaid toast imported from the hills of Tobago. And here I am suggesting that Brighton, instead just buy some 25-year-old bloke born in Burnley. Yeah, I know, it's a bit like me telling Lady Gaga to just wear a sensible cardigan knitted by her nan. But Barnes is a talent. He's played for England, and his goal-scoring numbers for Leicester are sensational. Lads, 13 Premier League goals for a relegated club is pretty great. And he's only got 2 years left in his deal, so a £25 million bid should get this done. And honestly, a Brighton team with both Matoma and Barnes on the wings, that's devastating. Burnley, Jimmy Vardy. Yeah. The third Leicester player in a row, and lads, I know this is a Premier League legend who's now nearly 37, and he does look like Smeagol before he found the ring. He's just some wormy, squirmy creature stuffed up front who's forgotten how to score a goal. But this Burnley squad under Vincent Kompany, they need experience and a leader, and considering they just dumped Ashley Barnes to Norwich, someone who has been the nasty Burnley bad guy for nearly 10 years, I think Kompany would find a place for Vardy on that bench. The guy's got personality, experience. And I'm sorry, but I can't be the only one who wants to see Jamie Vardy coached by Craig Bellamy. Two very similar players who relied on pace, but also look like when they're in a bad mood, they'd probably bite the head off a cat for 3 points. Honestly, there is so much of Bellamy in Vardy. And this Burnley squad need firepower. Actually proven Premier League players. I know these days this version of Vardy is about as threatening as a water balloon filled with tea. And I realise he is old. But Burnley bought Peter Crouch when he was 38. He's only got a year left in his deal. He's nearly in his 40s, so it costs no more than what? £8 million? Although, how anticlimactic. The guy spent his Leicester City career linked with Arsenal and Atletico Madrid, and so when he finally does leave, it's to go to Burnley. Oh, his wife will probably get sick in her purse. Chelsea, Armel Bella-Kotchap. Look, Southampton have had an absolutely dreadful season, especially at the back, but Armel Bella-Kotchap has actually had a pretty decent debut year. I mean, really, he's a 21-year-old centre-back born in France, and yet played for Germany at the World Cup. Listen, Chelsea could do with one more centre-half, so why not a £40 million move for Kotchap, just to have depth on the bench? I realise Chelsea fans might sneer at buying from a club like Southampton, but I'm sorry, that's what you should have done in 2017. He has had injury problems in the second half of the campaign. And yes, I realise that his second name sounds like a Hungarian brand of sauce you stick in your chips. But still, he'd be a solid Chelsea option on the bench. Crystal Palace, Kamaldeen Sulemana. Lads, Kamaldeen Sulemana has finally clicked. Before he exploded with 2 goals against Liverpool on the final day of the season in that nutty 4-4 draw, some people were probably writing off this Ghanaian winger as being a big money Southampton flop, having arrived from Rennes in January. But no lads, I saw something early doors. Like when he ran the entire length of the pitch against Man City in what? 6 seconds? This guy is talent. He's only 21. He is the perfect replacement for Wilfred Zaha, who's probably going to quit the club on a free. Christ, Bob, can you imagine the explosive pace? This terrifyingly quick outlet amongst the likes of Ebereki Eze and Michael Olise? Listen, he's got 4 years left on a Southampton deal. He'd probably cost £30 million at least, but still, do it. Everton, Rodrigo Moreno. Pretty simple. Everton need goals, so go out there and buy a former Real Madrid centre forward. I mean, Christ, but not Joselu, who, by the way, I mean, if this former Stoke and Newcastle flop does actually return to Real Madrid this summer, oh, if that happens, then wait for the video. I'm just gonna spend 10 minutes laughing like a pregnant seal. But lads, when Leeds first signed Rodrigo from Valencia for 27 million, he looked like a flop. But this season, fair play, 13 goals in the league and 15 in all comps. What is weird though, is that the guy is nearly 33. Did anybody realize that Rodrigo was that old? Prices above, does he just bathe his face in Vaseline? This guy's got James Alcott genes. He still looks like he's about 19. But listen, Sean Dyche desperately needs goals in his squad. And yeah, I would imagine a former Real Madrid employee would sooner lick a dead pigeon off a public phone box than play in the championship. So yeah, this man's contract is up in a year, so 12 million should do it. Fulham, Kyle Walker-Peters. Fulham could do with a new right back. I mean, there's nothing hugely wrong with Kenny Teddy, but I think we can all agree that Kyle Walker-Peters is probably on another level. I mean, he played 2 games for England last year. He was linked with a £40 million move to Chelsea. When he first broke through at Tottenham, I thought he was just a gimmick. I mean, if he had not chosen to add his mum's name onto his, then Spurs would have replaced Kyle Walker with Kyle Walker. It's like when Fulham replaced John Collins with Collins John. And nowadays, with that name, this Southampton fullback would probably be barred from pubs nationwide. Every time he logged onto Tinder, he'd probably have to clarify that, no, he's not going to stick his knob in your pint. But anyway, he's a technically good, superb right back. He's got 2 years left in his deal. So really, a £25 million move, and he'd be a top Fulham defender for next season. So go on, Marco Silva. It just makes sense. Liverpool, Yuri Tielemans. Look, I realise that Liverpool fans will turn their nose up at Yuri Tielemans, considering this season he has shown the appetite and hunger of a burnt pair of underpants. I realise fishing around for a big name midfielder who's just been relegated is not a good look for Liverpool, but Gini Wijnaldum was in the same boat. This man had European hype while at PSV, and then he got relegated with Newcastle. He was an attacking midfielder, didn't score a single goal away from home all season long. Jurgen Klopp would have been well within his rights to decide that buying a fella from the Championship was like a millionaire like Usher asking some homeless bloke if he can borrow his socks. But Wijnaldum turned out to be a superb addition, won everything in sport, and so yeah, just sign Tielemans on a free. Think of him as a replacement for James Milner in the squad. He's not a starter immediately, but he's a decent option off the bench. And who knows, if he can focus his head and get his form back on track, then Tielemans has the quality to be a key player in that midfield. Come on lads, he will cost less than a Twix. This isn't even a risk. Luton Town, James Justin. Luton Town need to sign everyone and anyone. Well, go on for the laugh. Try and bring James Justin back. Go on, tell me that he would say no. I know he's a highly rated Leicester right back who played for England last year. I know he's even linked to Roma a few weeks ago, but this is a bloke who joined Luton in 2005, stayed until 2019, and lads, it wasn't even a messy breakup. When he quit for Leicester, Luton released a statement saying that he had done the town proud. Come on, James, just do it. I know he's probably too expensive for them, but come on, Justin. Go on strike, demand to leave, and maybe get a deadline day loan move back to Luton. Man City, Alex McCarthy. Okay. Nobody who got relegated would get into Man City's team. So go and get Alex McCarthy. Why not? Scott Carson had just signed another 1-year deal to remain City's 3rd choice goalkeeper. But why not just make him 4th choice and the goalkeeping coach? McCarthy is 33 and doesn't seem to have a problem with riding on the bench. He's done that for Southampton in the past, and Crystal Palace, and QPR. I mean, I know he rejected the chance to join Liverpool in 2014 when he left Reading because he wanted first team football, but now, would he turn down the chance to be 3rd choice goalkeeper for the best team in the world? No! Man United, Wilfred Nanto. Yeah, I know, Wilfred Nanto's season sort of fell off a cliff after the World Cup, but before that, this Italian striker actually looked pretty special under Jesse Marsch. Confident, skillful, always wanting the ball. Then Javi Gracia arrived, and I'm not sure how he buddied the self-confidence out of him, but for the last 2 or 3 months, he's looked like a lost puppy in the snow. I mean, he's only actually played in 1 win since November, but Man United need strikers. I mean, lads, Wout Weghorst is about as intimidating as a headless Barbie doll. Nanto is 19, he's raw, young, spent 8 years at Inter Milan. This is the perfect replacement for the homegrown Voldemort. You know, he must not be named. I mean, Nanto is a similar player to him. He's already got 10 games for Italy under his belt. I know. Swapping Ellen Road for Old Trafford after relegation, that would just be an ugly look. He'd be the modern day Alan Smith. But I think Man United could do worse than a £30 million move. I think he'd be quality. Newcastle, James Maddison. This is gonna happen. Newcastle have been wanting James Maddison for over a year, and now that they have Champions League football, I think this fella would gladly cut off his left ear to secure this move. He's a quality attacking midfielder who, yeah, should be embarrassed that this whole Leicester project has ended in relegation. I mean, lads, 2 years ago, this fella was sitting top of the Premier League in January, and now, instead, they're in the same league as Plymouth. But yeah, he's got a year left in his deal, so really, £30 million should do it. Nottingham Forest, Gavin Bazunu. What? Am I the only one who still believes that Gavin Bazunu is class? Right, well, this season was not a good one for Irish goalies in the Prem. Mark Travers conceded a 9-1 match for Bournemouth and was dropped. Bazunu finished bottom of the league for Southampton and was dropped, while Caoimhín Kelleher is only Premier League game of the season and he concedes 4 against the bottom club. But lads, I maintain that Bazunu is quality. And Nottingham Forest, they've only borrowed Dean Henderson and Keylor Navas this season, so go and chuck in a £15 million bid for Bazunu. Make him your number 1. Show him the confidence. I mean, lads, the Dubliner is only only 21? Forget pandering to Henderson's ego and begging him to stay. No, this ex-Man City child can be Forest's #1 for 15 years. He can become a Forest club legend. So Christ above Steve Cooper, snap him up now. Sheffield United, Timothy Castagna. Pretty simple this. Sheffield United play with a back five, right? Timothy Castagna is a versatile defender who can either play wing back or as a centre back. He's only got 2 years left in his deal. Snap up this former Atalanta defender for about 18 million quid. Honestly, he'd be useful next year. Tottenham, Tyler Adams. Look, Leeds have had a horrible season, but Tyler Adams is a decent midfielder. He's 24, excelled at the World Cup for USA, spent 3 years doing bits at RB Leipzig. I know he's had his injuries, but when he's been on the pitch for Leeds, he's actually looked pretty good. And his stock hasn't really taken a huge hit because he's still linked with monster English clubs. So go on, Tottenham, swoop in with a £30 million bid, and he might just revitalise your stale midfield. West Ham, Jack Harrison. Jack Harrison is a decent player, but let's be real, he's had such a strange career. This is a 26-year-old winger who's never had an English cap, no. Well, I mean, he's played alongside the likes of Pirlo in America, was born in Stoke, spent a year in Liverpool's academy, then spent 7 at Man United. He was on the books of Man United for the entirety of Cristiano Ronaldo's first spell. That just sounds weird, right? He's also played college football in America for Wake Forest Demon Deacons. They sound like a type of emo indie band who probably eat squirrels on stage. Oh yeah, and he spent 3 years on the books of Man City. Although yeah, Guardiola probably didn't even know who he was. Look, Harrison is a decent winger. He knows where the goal is. He's your typical mid-table Premier League player. The only issue is that he's got 5 years left on his Leeds deal. He only signed a contract in April, but I can only assume, unless his agent has brains made of cheese, there must be a relegation release clause in there. Otherwise, why would you sign a 5-year deal a month before relegation? Wolves, Wilfred Ndidi. Remember when Wilfred Ndidi was seen as one of the best midfielders outside the top 6? A Nigerian wonder kid who was an incredible Leicester baller, right? Yeah, now his form has sort of fallen off a cliff. But still, Wolves are probably going to lose Ruben Neves to Barcelona. João Moutinho is older than my nan, so considering he is a free agent next summer, then a £15 million move for Ndidi wouldn't be a bad addition, right? Anyway, that's the end of the video, and yeah, I mean, if you were a player who got relegated and you didn't make this video, then you need to have a look at yourself in the mirror, because honestly, that does not bode well for your career. But yeah, here lads, I picked 5 players from Leeds, 7 from Southampton, and 8 from Leicester City. So I guess Leicester had the most talent, but it was close. Anyway, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give a like, share, and subscribe. And as always, I'll talk to you in a while.